going on, everybody? My name is Barba223. If you haven't seen my videos before, I do some ESO videos, some League of Legends videos, but today we are going to be doing a Magic Warden PvP build. I also have a Magic Necro that is very similar, but let's just get right into it. I'm going to go over the character screen, the gear, the skills, and then the champion points. Alright, so yeah, as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you aren't subscribed already, please do drop a like, a comment. Anything helps. Thanks for the support. Alright, so the character screen. Again, we are a Warden. We are a Breton. We're using Jewels of Misrule as the food. You can use any potion you like. So we have 30 points into magic, 34 points into health. Before I say anything else, you can change these as you see fit. Totally up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with. So we have 23,000 magic, 33,000 health, 16,000 stamina, 1,600 recovery with a potion. We have 1985. We get over 2,000 with our Betty Netch proccing. We have 4,100 spell damage. That goes up with the use of Balorg. We have 27% crit and almost 10,000 penetration before our major and minor breach, which is really nice. And then for resistances, we have a 31 and 28, which to be honest is pretty solid. And on the back bar, we have 33 and 30. So that is our character screen. Like I said before, I am a Breton. I'm using Jewels of Misrule, and I'm using the Atronach Mundus. If you want to use the Apprentice or the Mage, that is your prerogative. Have fun with that. We are a Vampire Stage 3. Anything else I need to show you? No, I believe that's it. Again, we're a Breton. If you want to use Orc, feel free. But Breton sustain is literally just unmatched. It's just better than everything else. So that's why we run it. So yeah, onto the gear. I really like this outfit. Let me know what you guys think, if you like it or not. The style, I forget what it is. I know someone's going to ask. But alright, so on the front bar, we are using Inferno Staff of Oblivion's Foe. Okay, so why are we using Inferno instead of Frost? I know that you get... Where is it? Where is it? I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. I know you get 12% extra damage with a nice staff. I get it. Alright, but you get a lot more damage with an Inferno Staff overall because we get the heavy attack Inferno Staff dot. That's going to do a crap ton of damage. We also get extra dot damage with an Inferno Staff, so we're getting 12% extra damage on our dots that we have an absolute ton of. So to be honest with you, it feels better to me. That 12% also applies to Northern Storm, which is why I use it as well. So yes, we get 10% from ice, but we get 12% from our dots, which is pretty much everything we do with our sets and everything. And then we also get we get that extra heavy attack in there. So I just like the Flame Staff. If you don't want to use Flame Staff, I understand. If you want to go with the Warden theme more, I understand that. Go ahead and use an Ice Staff. I like the Inferno Staff overall. I've tried an Ice Staff. I like the Inferno better. With this specific build, 99% of builds, I'm using an Ice Staff. But anyways, enough yapping. Here we go. So we're using a Poison Glyph. Again, we're using that because we're getting buff dot damage from our Flame Staff, so we're using this. It's obvious to use that. And Poison's really nice. We're using Sharpened. Yes, we have a double Sharpened trait because we are using another set that buffs it. If you are not aware of the set, I will go over it. And then we're using Oblivion's Foe. Yes, we're cheesy. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. Oblivion's Foe is so good. I never used it up until about a week ago. But I love it. So we have a 2-piece of weapon damage. We have a 3-piece of penetration. We have a 4-piece of crit. And then we get that extra line of weapon and spell damage. And then when you deal damage with soul magic, aka the soul skill we are using, you deal 10,000 magic damage over 10 seconds as long as they are not already marked from you. The most important thing about this exact description is that you can apply it to everyone and anyone around you. Okay? You can apply it to 10 people at once. You can apply it to 2 people at once. You can apply it to 30 people at once. There's no limit to how many people at once you can apply this to. This is broken. You are doing 9,500 damage to everyone around you. Now, you're not just doing 9,500 damage. You're doing the damage of the skill itself. Right? The skill itself is the Soul Trap. You're doing AOE damage with Soul Trap to a group of 3 people. On top of it, you're applying Soul Magic to 3 people. I mean, it's a lot of damage, guys. So to put that in perspective, it does 9,500 for the set, okay? the skill does 82. That is 17,000 damage with 100% uptime. Alright, so it's a shit ton of damage. I'm sorry. On the back bar, we're using a Resto Staff of Endurance. The reason I use an Endurance Resto is because it gives 2,000 health, which Polar Wind scales with max health. So we get an extra heal out of it. We get a little bit more healing, and then we have Powered on the back bar because our set gives us 18% healing, which is a ridiculous amount. And then I use a Berserker Glyph. So that's what we're running on the back bar. So on the monster set, now I'm going to tell you right now, you have two choices. You can either use a monster set, or you can drop one of the monster set pieces, run a shoulder piece of Heartland Conqueror, and then you can use a mythic. I've done testing. I think Balorg's better. Balorg absolutely will melt people if you use it because we get the 15% or the 12% dot damage. We get the proc of Balorg. We just get a lot of damage from Balorg. So we have a Triglyph. It's heavy. It's in pen. Great. We get a weapon damage line. And then when you use an alt, you gain weapon and spell damage equal to the amount of total ultimate consumed and the physical and spell penetration equal to 23 times the amount for 12 seconds. I swear that got buffed. 12 seconds. I don't remember it being that long. That's a pretty long buff. But, yeah, so if my alt costs 216 and I use it at 216, I'm getting 216 spell damage, and then that times 23 for penetration. If I use my alt when I have a 400 saved up, then we're getting 400 weapon and spell damage, and 400 times 23 for penetration. So whatever number alt you save up, that's how much you'll get out of it. So if you don't need your ultimate, save it for a big giant burst for that target you can't kill, and you'll destroy them. On the body, so we're running 5 pieces of this on both bars. Keep that in mind. You have to have this up at all times. We're using Heartland Conqueror, so you get a multi-glyph here, triglyph. You go impen again. You could easily just go reinforce, which is a slightly bit more armor. Then we get 123 weapon and spell damage. You get max magic, and you get max stamina, and then you increase the effectiveness of your weapon traits by 100%. Okay, so like I said, you're getting 6,500 penetration, and you're getting 18% healing done. All right, so you're getting like almost, in my opinion, like 2 5-piece bonuses because you're getting an extra 10. You're getting major mending at all times on top of the times that you actually get major mending. I mean, you get a lot of healing and a lot of damage from Heartland Conqueror. There's not many sets that are going to give you so much in one set. That's why we have it up at all times, because on both bars it's just a beast. And then we have a Shoulder of Valor to get a medium on there to get the 5/1/1 bonus. Yeah. And then we have a light Sash of Oblivion's Foe. We have a medium Heartland Conqueror Brace. We have Heartland Conqueror Greaves and Oblivion's Foe feet. Now I need to put a health or magic glyph on here. My bad. This is a brand new set that I've been using. I didn't even notice. But yeah, as you can see, we have heavy, heavy, medium, light, medium, heavy, heavy. So we have a mixture of all pieces here. Now if you want to go one more heavy or one more light, it's up to you. But just make sure you have Heartland Conqueror up at all times, and then you have Oblivion's Foe on the front bar. Then we have a Heartland Conqueror necklace. We have an Oblivion's Foe ring, and then we have a Heartland Conqueror ring. Now, I know the traits are nowhere near perfect. I apologize for that, but this is what I could find. I spent 500k on this ring. It was the only one on the market. But Protective's not that bad. We could easily just go Bloodthirsty, and then here I would love to transmute this and go Bloodthirsty as well. But right now I can't. So I will when I can. So yeah. So that's what we're running. Okay, so Heartland Conqueror on the body. You are going Oblivion's Foe on the front. And then you're going Endurance Staff on the back. If you want to use a different, like a specialized staff, like one of the arena staffs, whatever you want, feel free, because it's a single piece. So that's up to you. Alright, then the skills. So you kind of saw them already, but we're using Inner Light first. The reason we use Inner Light is because it gives us our source or our crit bonus, and then we get 5% max magic. So we're just getting 5% extra magic to deal extra damage, because you do more damage based on your max stats. Now if you don't want to use that, another option is running Lotus Blossom. Okay, Lotus Blossom is a great skill. It's going to give you some extra healing. Alright, so the trade-off is damage or healing. I'm using the damage, up to you. Here we're using Deep Fissure. So Deep Fissure obviously is our bread and butter skill of the build. It's going to be your major and minor breach. It is going to do a big chunk of damage. So you're doing 9,000 and then 13,000, and you're getting 9,000 pen out of it. So on top of us having 10 already, we're getting about 19,000 pen. Here we're using Bird of Prey, which is an absolute must on the build. You get 30% movement speed, you get immunity to snares and immobilizes, and you get minor berserk while slotted, and then on top of it, you also get crit damage. Next, we are using Soul Splitting Trap to proc Oblivion's Foe. Make sure you use this morph instead of the other morph. The other morph will do more damage to one person. This one will do a bunch of damage to all the people around. Okay, so really, really, really good. It says lay claim to enemy souls, dealing damage to your target and any other nearby enemies for 10 seconds. You're hitting everyone. There's no limit. You can hit 10 people with this. Like, if everyone's bunched up, you hit especially in a battleground or a big fight, like in an open world, like in a big group fight, you're going to do a shit ton of damage. Like, this is so good. Just apply this to everybody around and do AoE damage with Deep Fissure, and you're literally an AoE god. Like, it's crazy good. Yeah, it's just a crazy good setup. And then we're using Crushing Shock. Now, go ahead and use Force Pulse if you feel like the sustain's not a problem. I'm using Crushing Shock because I felt like I was running out of magic. I know it's only a 270 magic difference per cast, but to me, that was a lot. I'm using Crushing Shock solely because it costs less. Force Pulse is probably better for the build. The difference between the two is that Force Pulse is going to do AoE damage to people that have status effects, which is going to be everybody. So you do even more AoE god damage. But again, I'm using this for the interrupt and the reduced cost. By no means is this bad. Force Pulse is just going to give you a little bit more damage. It's going to give you some more sustain, so it's a trade-off. And then last, we're using Northern Storm. Now, did you see that big, beefy Northern Storm number? 6,700 a second. Okay, so we are storming around us with 6,700 a second for 8 seconds and reducing their movement speed. While it holds, you get weapon and spell damage by 50 every 1 second for 5 seconds, up to 9 stacks max. So if you keep people in it, you are getting up to 450, right? Yeah, 450 weapon and spell damage. So the damage numbers are going to be even higher. I was hitting people for like 4,000 a second, which is literally ridiculous, by the way. 4,000 a second is so broken. Yeah. On top of it, you get major protection. So this is the must skill. I mean, yeah, you could use Dawnbreaker, sure, but this is just better. I mean, Northern Storm is insane. On the back bar, we're using Ice Fortress. You would get major and minor, or not minor, I'm sorry, major resolves to get your resistances, and then you get minor protection, reducing your damage taken. Here we get Resolving Vigor for your heal over time. Okay, so that is going to give 18,000 over 5 seconds, and then you get your minor resolve, which is 2,900 spell resistance. Polar Wind is the big beefy heal I was telling you about that scales off of your max health, which is why Endurance makes this one better. It does 13,000 health, and it heals them, which is me. Alright, healing for 3,300 every 2 seconds over 10 seconds. So if you want me to do the math, you're getting, let's just round it down, 3,000 every 2 seconds, so you get 3,000 5 times total. 3 times 5, you get 15,000 total healing out of this skill, plus the 13 it already does. In total, you're getting 28,000 total healing out of one cast of this ability. I mean, come on. A ridiculous heal, and it also heals your allies to do a ton of off healing. So you can be like a, what's the word, a semi-healer or a quasi-healer type thing. Here we're using Shimmering Shield. Feel free to use Crystallized Slab. I think Crystal Slab's probably overall better for the CC. It gives you a ton of survivability, but this one does a lot of alt regen. So this is totally personal preference. If you feel okay without the hard CC, use it. If you don't feel okay without hard CC, switch it to Crystal Slab. That's what I would say. Blue Betty, you get magic over 25 seconds, which is about, what, 200 recovery or something like that, give or take. Then you get your major sorcery, and then you get a cleanse out of it. So if you just sit there like this, spamming, you'll cleanse all the negative effects on you. Yes, it takes time, but you can literally just sit there and spam it. And then last, we're using Life Giver. I don't care what anyone tells you. I don't know why people say this. Do not use Enchanted Forest over this skill. It makes no sense to me. Why would I use Enchanted Forest when this one costs 30 more, and this does 9,500 once, and then does 3,000 every 1 second for 6 seconds if I'm maybe in the area? Like, that's trash to me. I don't know, maybe so you're getting not much healing total out of it. Well, in this, you're getting 50,000 total healing. 50,000. You're doing 10,000 every second for 5 seconds. You're getting 50,000 healing out of this skill. On top of it, healing you or an ally, so it heals your teammates too if they need the heal. I don't know. I think this one's better. That's just how I feel. Secluded Grove you can put under your own feet and it won't have to worry about hitting anybody else, which is fine, but this is freaking insane. And then you also get a bunch of other casts on top of it, all of the restoration staff casts. So that is my skills. Let me know what you think about the skills. If you want to change anything, I am not opposed. If you have better ideas than me, I am not opposed. Champion points, I'll run through them quick because I'm not a champion point savant. Alright, some people are the gods with using CP. If you want to find better CP, feel free. Alright, but I'm using Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, Wrathful Strikes, and Backstabber. And then I'm using Boundless Vitality, Fortified, Pain's Refuge, and Bastion. Alright, I love this build. Honestly, it puts the game on easy mode for me. I'll show you my combo. Okay, I'll show you my combo. I need an enemy. Is there an enemy over? Yeah, he's going to die instantly, but... Alright, so first you obviously buff up. Then you're going to pop your Deep Fissure into a Soul Trap. You're going to get the proc on him, and then you're just going to weave away with your Force Pulse. Okay, he just died, but, like, that's what you're doing. Alright, you're buffing up, Deep Fissuring, hitting with a light attack into a Soul Trap, light attack into Force Pulse, and then you just spam away. I mean, it's a lot of damage. It's really hard to sustain, and then if you get in trouble, immunity to snares, you have a Crystal Slab, all this to run away and kite, and then you can just fight. So yeah, guys, that's what we're running. Let me know if you enjoyed the build. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Keep supporting the channel. We got to 2,000 subscribers. I love you all for that. Every 2,000 of you, thank you for the support. I have a gameplay coming soon. I know I always say that, but I finally am back to gaming, so I have the time to get the clips. Thank you. Have a good one.